Well, let's get started with the presentation. We have been so lucky, I feel, to get some of the top people at CEE, or the Center for Energy and Environment, to share with us tonight some different issues that are always in front of all of us, and it's the economics of doing some of these energy efficiency and renewable energy kind of projects. And we've got Nate Phillips and DeShaun James that are going to be presenting to us. And DeShaun and I talked earlier, and he's been with the organization quite a long time now. They're in the lending division, and he said that he'd prefer to just uh, answer questions as they come up. So if anybody has any questions, please use the little react button at the bottom of your screen and raise your hand, and Laura or I will call on you, and we'll answer them as we go. So, uh, Nate, you're going to start off first then?
Yeah, I think what I'd like to do is just kind of give everybody who isn't familiar an overview of the Center for Energy and Environment and kind of how we're put together. And then I think Deshaun will then kind of get into some of the details about the specific programs that we have. Deshaun, did you have an intro that you wanted to
Sure.
start with?
Of course. My name is DeShaun James. I'm a senior loan officer here at the Center for Energy and Environment. I've been here now a little over 7 years. So I've watched how we've grown and adjusted um, prior to COVID, during COVID, and then now post-COVID. It's a pleasure to be able to meet with you guys and kind of answer questions and explain who we are and what we have to offer. So thanks for having me.
All right,
Yeah,
thanks.
and I'd just like to say too, Doug, thank you so much. It's really exciting to be able to be a part of this and all the work that you guys do, and we're thankful to be here. So I really appreciate the opportunity. My name is Nate Phelps. I'm a project manager here at CEE, and I've been around for some time, probably almost 18 years or so. And I've worked primarily in the CEE noise mitigation program, sound insulating homes around the airport. I've also, in the interim of that program, been able to work in the lending department on a number of projects. And one that I'm working on now is a an on bill loan program with CenterPoint Energy called Easy Pay, and also just being kind of a liaison to different contractors throughout Minnesota and helping them utilize some of these loan programs. So that's what I'm doing here. And what I'd like to do is start off by just giving you kind of an idea of who CE is and kind of how we operate. For those of you that don't know, the Center for Energy and Environment, or CEE as we call it, is a Minnesota nonprofit. And we're led by our president, Chris Duffrin. And for over 40 years, we've worked to promote energy efficiency to homeowners and businesses and help government entities initiate energy efficiency goals across the state. Our mission: to discover and deploy the most effective energy solutions that strengthen the economy and improve the environment, is carried out in many different ways, but we always have a signature approach. And the key elements to that are our collaboration. We work with so many different groups like MRES and others to educate and learn through sharing all of our knowledge and information. We have decades of field experience, countless case studies, a lot of reports. Our expertise is made available to everyone through our research and our people. We respect science. We rely on data gained through independent research and analysis of tested results from the real world. We work to provide energy solutions to serve everybody in our community. We gauge our integrity by just utilizing emphasizing ethics and honesty in our completed work and our track record, basically. And then we also make sure that our efforts include equity, and we work to grow an energy positive economy with solutions and ideas that work for everybody in our community. And the stance we've taken to how we carry out our mission is important. but there's also a big factor in how we make all that work. And that, of course, is our people. CEE currently has over 250 employees who are dedicated to promoting energy efficiency in many different roles. They use their passion, expertise, they use research and their training to really drive our energy efficiency values forward and put our mission into action. And then in addition to those people, right now we also have about 12 team members that have received clean energy job training through our workforce development career training program. And these 12 people have been placed as interns in clean energy jobs throughout their communities. And I think this is something, let's talk about this. For about the last 5 years, with the help of Excel Energy and others, we've been able to offer paid training to people interested in joining the clean energy and energy efficiency industry. And we encourage this training and internship placement to be used by women and other underrepresented people in the energy industry. Our trainees have gone on to work as energy auditors, insulation installers, efficiency contractors, but really most importantly, they've gone on to be representatives and educators of responsible energy use in their communities. And last year, CEE introduced 151 new energy professionals to the energy workforce through this program. And we're not stopping there. We're continually working with trade allies and contractors to place even more individuals into working roles. So we're excited for the opportunity to continue to train new candidates. And we're really thankful to be able to administer a program like this with our partners. And, because this will go out onto the internet, I just want to say if you or someone would benefit from this type of career training, you can go to our CE website or employer-partners at mnce.org and get more info on this program. And, as with that said, I also want to include that diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives are a strong priority with CE. We've implemented our own DEI council, and that is composed of CEE staff volunteers and some representatives from our corporate leadership. And basically the goal there is they implement DEI objectives into not only our CEE environment, but into the clean energy industry as a whole. And recently, we received some exciting news. According to our staff's feedback in a recent poll, the Center for Energy and Environment was recognized nationally as a nonprofit industry top workplace in March of 2026. So we're proud of that. We're proud of our people. We have a lot of positives happening at CE. We have the mission, the people, a great environment for people to work in. But I think to really give you a good idea of kind of who we are and where we are today, we have to talk about our past a little bit. And based on a blog called the Twin Histories of CE from our own technical editor, Allison Rodriguez, I'd like to talk about the history of the organization. And the group we are today really has two important parts. We began as two separate groups, and both of them were important in helping define the framework for national energy efficiency movement that started kind of a long history of developing and delivering energy efficiency programs. Our roots can be traced back to both sides of the Twin Cities here in Minnesota. The original CEE started as the Energy Office at the city of Minneapolis back in 1979. And during the energy crisis of the 70s, the Energy Office, which was comprised of some visionary volunteer groups of basically pioneers who were led by many of you who will remember our founding father, Sheldon Strom. This group conducted, I haven't heard that one for a little bit, but never forget. That group did some of Minnesota's first blower door tests and infrared scans and created a loan program that would come to be known as the CEE Lending Center. And overall, that program helped Minneapolis residents complete home energy and insulation improvements. And the nice side effect was that people saved money and they were actually more comfortable in their homes. So unfortunately, the city of Minneapolis Energy Office was dissolved in 1989. So its former staff, and we're talking about a group of like 19 people, They stayed together and they founded their own independent 501c3 nonprofit organization, and that would become the first Center for Energy and Environment. The other part of our history is a few years earlier across the Mississippi, the St. Paul Neighborhood Energy Consortium was established, and that was in 1985. And NEC was born from a coalition of St. Paul neighborhood organizations that wanted to not only improve residential energy efficiency, but also just make conservation easy. Excel Energy, of course, then known as NSP,
Yep.
they provided funding for the NEC, and in its first year, the group conducted 1,298 residential energy audits. They did a number of energy management plans as well for participants throughout St. Paul and the surrounding suburbs. So that 1,298 number was pretty miraculous back then for the resources they had and the people. And we'll talk about that again here a little bit.
Nate, just
yeah.
to quickly share, my
Yeah.
wife used to work there.
Okay.
So, back in the day, so it's just, you're right. That was quite the organization. So,
well, yeah, and those were the early days, weren't they? I mean, any way you could get attention and promote energy efficiency, I think everyone did it,
Yeah.
or even renewable energy. So, and even over like the next few decades, NEC developed so many different programs, and a lot of those laid the groundwork for other organizations.
Power
One
program.
One of them was a company called Woodwinds, Reclaimed Wood Furniture. I don't know if anyone remembers that one, but what surprised me, which was amazing, is just that they were also involved in a small curbside recycling program, and that thing grew, and it ultimately became an entirely different nonprofit group. And I think a lot of people will recognize Eureka Recycling. All came from that effort way back then. Yeah, in 2005, NEC kind of refocused their mission, really to strictly focus on energy conservation, and they had expanded their service territory at this point to greater Minnesota. So the NEC board gave the organization the name that many Minnesotans and a lot of people on the east side will remember and are familiar with, the Neighborhood Energy Connection. So both CEE and NEC help set the standard for energy efficiency in Minnesota and frankly beyond, and because of our shared visions and our similar missions, and just all the collaborating we were doing for years, CEE and NEC naturally merged in 2017 into a single energy nonprofit. And we just kind of stayed on with the name of Center for Energy and Environment. And over the decades, if you look at the histories, we've collectively served about 50,000 or more residential energy customers. And we've used programs today. I'm sorry?
Steve, did you have something?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I didn't know my mic was.
Okay.
Yeah, over 50,000 is remarkable, Anyway, we've done that through a number of programs, and we'll touch base on a few of those, but the Home Energy Squad and Community Energy Services and like MRES, we've been to countless neighborhood energy workshops, and we've, in the past through programs like Operation Insulation might ring a bell, and countless low income weatherization programs that, we were so honored to be a part of and facilitate. So when we combine the two histories, the modern day CE has around 70 concurrent years of experience in providing energy efficiency resources that, not only strengthen the economy, but improve the environment. And I think let's talk a little bit about the CE today and look at the core of services that we've grown to provide. And as you can see here, we carry out our mission in a number of different ways. And I'd like to get into the programs part of it in a little bit. So let's start with our policy team. The policy team works primarily at the state and city level. to advance clean energy policy throughout, the state and our communities as well. Their involvement with the state and local government is vital to really keeping current energy efficiency issues on everyone's agenda and critical to CEE's ongoing programs for sure. They work with the city officials to improve housing stock by helping implement energy disclosure programs. They these disclosure programs were made to kind of show the value in home energy improvements that were done at the time of sale. One, to give the people that put them in some credit and some value, and then also to show, current owners that this stuff makes sense and adds value and it works, and that it's something that they should continue to improve the housing stock in the cities with. So that was a big development that the policy team was able to implement. We do work with helping to introduce city energy code and benchmarking standards. And I think in the biggie, as they work to foster the creation of the Minnesota Efficient Technology Accelerator Partnership. And we'll talk more about that in a minute, because that really encompasses a lot of the things that we're working on right now. Our consulting or community energy consulting services team provides communities with energy action planning. They will help to plan a program. They'll get the right stakeholders engaged and the people needed to participate. And then ultimately they work with our customers then to just really implement this program and get it into action. And I tried to find one example I wanted to bring up was that they had worked with Xcel Energy in the Sartell and Sauk Rapids service territory. And really they wanted to implement an energy savings campaign to curb electrical demand during peak periods. And this was in an attempt to kind of help delay some emergency upgrades and ease the burden on the grid that was created with the boom in population growth in that area in around 2010. And the consulting team worked with the utilities and the cities, and they created a program that, of course, promoted the home energy visits, but it made smart thermostats available. And it really encouraged commercial auditing to be done with some of the bigger energy users there. And basically over the course of every part of the program, it resulted in a lower demand during the peak energy or hot spell periods in the area. And it really allowed them to make grid upgrades at a more of a slower or budgeted pace. And so, our consulting team will work with anyone who wants to create a special program, kind of from its inception all the way to where the rubber meets the road and getting the message out to the people. Research, we do so much research as well. There's a couple of topics, since 2014, our heat pump research program has focused on finding ways for utility programs and contractors to utilize air source heat pump technology. And we're working with the mechanical and HVAC industry to really optimize the presentation and the installation of air source heat pumps. And that would be in single and multi-family applications. We've done work with building envelope sealing. Stopping heat loss by upgrading building envelopes is a huge source of efficiency potential in Minnesota. And so, we work to identify opportunities to improve building envelope construction and doing research on aerosol sealing and best practices for new builds and also for retrofits. And then we've also done a lot of research and help implement building energy code. We look at how utilities can support city officials, support architects and designers and builders who build these buildings, and increase energy code compliance in their projects. Our research team, along with the policy team in 2023, with others, they helped launch the Minnesota Advanced Energy Codes Partnership. And really that was set up to establish and implement a path to the net zero commercial energy code in Minnesota by 2036. And that partnership drives updates to the progressive commercial building energy code. And it also focuses on improving energy and in alignment with the state's climate action framework. So the research and the policy and the, just the people, all these projects overlap quite a bit, but these are kind of the resources that are core, and this is how we kind of complete the mission. I want to make sure that I mention the market transformation piece. And it's so important. And let's see, I think we talked about research. So I want to talk about the Efficient Technology Accelerator, or the ETA. CEE works to really accelerate the adoption of promising technologies, and we work to promote these new technologies from the early market engagement stage. The Minnesota Efficient Technology Accelerator, or like I said, the ETA, which we call it, is a partnership funded by the state's participating investor-owned and consumer-owned utilities. It's administered by the Minnesota Department of Commerce's Division of Energy Resources, and we're proud to implement the program. The ETA promotes promising new technologies, and they support them from their early conception through development, and then we work with the technologies throughout the actual market implementation. And really, the goal of the ETA is to speed up and help the introduction of some of today's energy efficient technologies, and really improve customers' purchase options throughout the state. And a couple of examples of these new technologies that we're working with, of course, are, when I had here, the air source heat pump technology. We're working on that, and we've created the Air Source Heat Pump Collaborative, and it's another program implemented by CEE and others. And the collaborative educates homeowners on mechanical and mechanical contractors on just about everything there is to know about air source heat pumps, from finding rebates and calculating energy savings to providing dealers with marketing support and training for performing quality installations in our cold weather region. They also have a preferred contractor network that helps promote installers, and they can generate additional leads through that as well for people that are doing these installs. And the Air Source Heat Pump Collaborative is also a great place to navigate resources for applicable rebates for this type of technology. Information and resources for homeowners, businesses, and installers can be found at the CEE website, or you can go directly to the collaborative at mnashp.org. One of the other technologies that we're working on are next-gen rooftop units, and this is similar to heat pump technology. It's focused more on the commercial side. This is a statewide program, and the goal is to help achieve energy efficiency and emission reduction goals with what we call next-generation rooftop units on commercial buildings. NetGen RTUs, if you will, are packaged heating and cooling units that use energy efficient technology to basically effectively heat and cool commercial spaces. And, we can reduce the energy consumption considerably with these units. Their goal is really to make next gen rooftop units the industry standard. And there are plenty of case studies and a lot of information about the program. And you can find that again at CE's website, or you can go directly to their program at the nextgenrtus.org as well. Okay. There's a couple of programs that I just want to highlight on as well. And the first one is the One Stop Efficiency Shop lighting program. The One Stop Efficiency Shop is a commercial lighting program sponsored by our friends at Xcel Energy. And this program offers free consultation services to help businesses save energy and money by implementing energy efficient lighting upgrades to their facilities. And our team has really streamlined the process for business owners to confidently make upgrades in the name of energy efficiency. The program provides lighting inventories. The team recommends upgrades. We estimate savings, and a big part of it is we help business owners navigate through all the rebates that are available out there. And last year, the One Stop finished 1,745 business projects on behalf of Excel Energy. So they've been busy. And I did find another number. Since 2000, they've served over 20,000 businesses. So it's pretty amazing. And the one-stop team is great to work with. The program has been a cornerstone for CEE, of course, for many years. It's been a great resource to Excel Energy business customers, and an important part of really fulfilling CEE's mission. One more program I want to talk about is, of course, the Home Energy Squad, which has been so important to us. The Home Energy Squad, or HES, is administered by CEE, but it's really made possible by CenterPoint Energy and Excel Energy. And this program provides in-home energy consultations to pretty much any Minnesota resident that has a CenterPoint or Excel Energy account. And these visits are designed to help homeowners identify the most effective ways to save energy and improve comfort in their homes. We have a team of HES advisors who install LEDs, sometimes smart thermostats. They put in weather stripping, high efficiency shower heads are always a big hit. And they inspect heating equipment and combustion appliances just to make sure everything is operating efficiently. And these advisors identify opportunities for insulation and heating improvements and make final recommendations for next steps to really help homeowners move forward with these types of improvements. What's great is the Home Energy Squad visits are available at little to no cost, depending on the type of visit that they select. Or sometimes they're based on household income as well, or the city or the county that the homeowner lives in. But just to give you an idea, in 2025, HES conducted 7,251 Home Energy Squad residential energy audits on behalf of CenterPoint and Excel. And I think that number is pretty incredible when you look at how far we've come. When you look back at NEC, remember we talked about in that first year, they did 1,298 visits. So things are growing and we're moving in the right direction. And this program has been great for our mission as well. And the staff there has a great building performance knowledge and how they educate homeowners on energy efficiency options every day. The Energy Squad team is definitely dedicated to our mission. And when you think about it, like, they're the face of CEE in thousands of homes across the metro, and they represent us all. And we're really proud of the work that they do in that program. And so I would encourage you, if you haven't already done so, schedule a Home Energy Squad visit. And they make great gifts too. People don't think of that, but when it's cut and dried and they get the information, it's pretty helpful to people, and it is exciting. So if you want to learn more about that program or sign up, I really encourage you to take advantage of it because there's a lot of value there. You can go right to the CEE website, and you can go to mnce.org and /home-energy-squad. And so that brings us to our last program that I want to highlight, and that's, of course,
Nate.
Yes.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah, absolutely.
What if people, like, I'm in Dakota County and I'm on Dakota Electric, but I do have, CenterPoint. I mean, is it only customers that have both of those utilities, or how does that work?
Well, I think arrangements can be made now, but I'd have to follow up. I'll certainly let me look into that, and then maybe I can put that in the chat and just see how far out we can go, and do we still have to be one of those utility areas?
If you have a CenterPoint Energy account, CEE may not be doing your visit, but you can get a Home Energy Squad visit through CenterPoint. So that's a different website that I can put in the chat, but it is available to you. Yes, statewide.
Okay.
Thanks, Danielle.
Many years ago, that guy named Carl Nelson actually came out and did one, like when that program was way back in the beginning. Yeah. And so I was just curious what it is nowadays. So if people out, say Dakota County or, some of these other areas on the
Yeah.
north or south side if it's available to them. So in other words, if they have service from XL or CenterPoint, they're good to go.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's my understanding.
Yeah. Thank you. Peter, you have a question also.
Okay, question is, living in the condo building, it's fairly new and our furnaces are not up for replacement yet, but how do we be sure we get shown the options of like heat exchange air when we need to replace our furnaces, which are natural gas powered? And how to avoid being smooth talked by some sales rep?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry to say.
I'm not sure who the first connection would be. It might be somebody in their community energy solutions who might be able to, if you're going into the air source heat pump route, the air source heat pump collab would be a good resource to start with, and just getting the information and maybe finding someone who can do those installs.
Sure. What is the name of that organization again you mentioned? Air Source Heat Collaboration?
Yeah, the Minnesota Air Source Heat Pump Collaborative. And we'll put that in the chat as well.
Thank you.
And Danielle did put that in the chat, by the way.
Okay.
Presently not an issue, but
yeah, but it's never too early to start a plan, right?
fair enough.
Yeah. Lewis, you have a question too?
Oh,
yeah. Here's actually two questions. The first one is, here's our situation. We have a heat pump. We changed our furnace and heat pump about 3 years ago. They were at Bryant, and we got another Bryant, and everything was going great. Heat pump and furnace, and this winter there were freezing rains. In our old heat pump, when there was a freezing rain and it froze the fan outside, it would immediately go to gas. Okay. Yeah. This time around, and we tried it twice, what happened is as soon as it froze up, it actually turned off the whole system. Fortunately, we were home when this happened. Otherwise, suppose we were on vacation for a week or whatever else, that would have meant that our whole house would have frozen. Okay. Yeah. Is this, Nate, is this something you see? Is this something that we should be aware of? I mean, I don't trust the system anymore. If I was to be gone for any length of time, I would put it automatically on gas because I don't know if it's going to freeze up. Does any of that make sense to you? Have you seen this before?
Absolutely. Ironically, I have kind of the same setup. I have 2 Bryant heat pumps and a new furnace as well. And I do remember that rain. Luckily I didn't have any trouble, but yeah, that is a concern. I think the Air Source Heat Pump Collaborative is definitely the place to kind of run that through. And I work sometimes with Jordan Pervins, and she's very good at kind of analyzing not only just the technology, but the installs. And maybe I could kind of get you guys in touch to talk that through a little bit.
Okay. That would be great. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I'll make a note of that, and I'll try to get some answers for you on that, and then get you sent to the right place.
Okay. Thank you. My second question, I want to apologize. I missed the first 20 minutes of your talk. We got tied up in traffic, and I missed part of your great talk here. My other question is, this is not sort of related. There are 2 insurance type systems or companies. One is HomeSmart and the other is Home Service Plus.
Yeah.
Do you have any feel for either one of them? Which one might be better?
I guess I'm not familiar with HomeSmart. I do some work with Home Service Plus through some of our programs.
Okay.
So I guess I couldn't weigh in on that.
But you have interactions with Home Service Plus, and that's with CenterPoint Energy, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is that a good?
they
Go
are
ahead,
a
I'm
trade
sorry.
ally in an easy pay on bill loan program. They offer a special financing that we have put together for um, CenterPoint Energy customers throughout Minnesota, and they are a provider of that. And that's probably the extent of my involvement with them, is just
Okay.
helping them roll out that program. They certainly are very popular in the CenterPoint area. But I will look into HomeSmart as well. But as far as a
Okay.
recommendation, I'm not very good at
Yeah,
either one.
that I'm not in CenterPoint area. I have Connexus. We have Connexus for
Okay.
electricity and Excel for gas. So, okay.
Excel
Okay.
Gas is also eligible.
Great.
I'm
For
sorry, I
Home
didn't
Service
hear that.
Plus.
Danielle, say that again.
Excel Energy, even if you're a gas customer with Excel, you may be able to get a home energy squad visit and they can make some more detailed recommendations to you.
I see. Okay.
Right.
Well, thank you very
Yeah.
much, everybody. And Nate, great presentation. I'm sorry I missed part of it, but I guess it's being taped. So thank you.
Well, I sure appreciate you going above and beyond to get here and listen. So thank you.
Thank you.
It's getting crazy out there, isn't it? The traffic is just
Oh,
more and more.
DeShaun, are
was-
you about ready to take over? What? I'm sorry.
Sorry, my mic was off. I said I'm ready when you guys are ready to give
Okay.
me the
The
reins.
only thing before you go forward, what's showing up on the screen is a stop sharing and the hide little button. Do you see that? Can you click that off? Is there a way to get rid of that? Won't get it in our recording.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay. Well, it's not critical, but I just thought I didn't want to interrupt Nate.
Oh, maybe it's because I am the host.
Yeah, can you click it off, Nate?
It will stop sharing my slideshow. So I guess if you want DeShaun to jump on here, we certainly can.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Okay, DeShaun, if you're ready, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen and we'll make you the host.
Nate, Nate, you need to make DeShaun the host now.
Feel so empowered.
You're in charge.
We are going to try that, DeShaun.
Can you guys see
All
part of my
right.
screen?
All
There
right.
we are.
Yep. Got it.
Hey,
Looking good.
Perfect. So I wanted to start on our website just because Nate brought up, Nate and Danielle have both brought up the energy audits, and there's a really good place on our website to check for some of those. And so if you go under the loans drop down and you go to city specific offerings, in addition to being able to look at all of the programs we administer based on city, which I'll talk about in a little bit briefly. But in here, you'll actually be able to, and maybe Andover isn't a good example, but in here, you'll be able to look at, for instance, under, gosh, Coon Rapids isn't a good example either. I'm striking out. Minneapolis is perfect. Under Minneapolis, if you look under the tab here, you'll see energy audits. And then in here, it'll have if energy audits through HES is available. In addition, in some of these areas, it'll also have price breakdowns. And so for some places, as mentioned, there are discounts based on income and based on the city being able to pay that for their residents. This would be a good place to check in addition to loans. So that's a good resource to look that up.
Okay.
All righty.
Good.
So perfect. Can everybody see my presentation?
Yep.
So perfect. I do want to kind of preface this with the way my setup is. My camera is on my laptop and the bigger screen is on next to me. So you will kind of see me looking off to the left. I do apologize in advance. It just kind of works a little bit better. And it looks like there is no hide button or anything here. So hopefully that is not showing up in the recording. So hopefully we figured that out. So lending. Um, so our lending department here essentially was created and essentially continues to support CEE's mission. In addition to our mission of promoting energy efficiency, more recently, we've also taken on the mantle of ensuring that we are helping other demographics of people with standard home improvements and livability improvements. And so, in addition to our energy and efficiency improvement programs, we do also work with partner cities and neighborhoods to ensure that we can further their missions and help in any way we can as well as it pertains to that. Um, so this is our lending department. You'll see this handsome gentleman in the lower right hand or left hand corner, depending on how your screen is. That's me. Um, but in addition to me, you'll see some of our lending department here on this screen. In addition, we've got more in our second screen here, which includes our servicing department as well and our closing team. When I started here 7 years ago, we were half this size with probably a third of the programs we have. And so it has been very interesting and fun to see us grow. Some notable things here is Jim's been here, I believe now 31 years.
32.
32 years. Leanne's been we got Leanne from NEC, and her combined years are probably right up there too. And then Brenda's been here, Nate, correct me, 29 years.
I think so, yeah.
29 years. And so longevity there, in addition, the ability to help folks. One of our biggest accomplishments here at CEE is that all of our loan officers received the 2025 Fix Up Fund Top Producing Loan Officer designation from Minnesota Housing. In addition to acknowledging the work that we do as loan officers, it does further our mission with a big majority of these loans being their energy efficiency loans. And so being able to help people not only minimize their carbon footprint, but also be able to offer more equitable energy solutions definitely continues to further our mission. Some of our partners, as I mentioned before, and kind of as Nate mentioned with Excel and Centerpoint, we do partner with the state of Minnesota. That's the Department of Commerce and Minnesota Housing. We partner with counties. Currently, we're partnering with Hennepin County. We are hopeful, or we are actually hoping to extend that further into other counties with conversations happening behind the scenes. And then currently we have 21 active city programs. We do have some inactive cities that as they get funding will open, but currently we've got 21 that are active. Statewide programs. We are a participating lender as well as a platinum lender for Minnesota Housing. What that means is typically when there are inquiries into energy efficiency and home improvements, we are one of the first recommendations that they give based on our extended experience with them. These loans make up large home projects, which include accessibility improvements as well as the mentioned air source heat pumps and soon to be mentioned solar panels. So here's a quick rundown of some of the numbers, some of the logistics. The big things here that I want to point out is these programs from Minnesota Housing are tested and created to be accessible by most people in Minnesota. And so they do have things like more reasonable credit score requirements, typically starting at 620 for secured loans and 640 for unsecured loans. In addition, they have lower closing costs as compared to traditional finance agencies, as well as higher loan to value requirements. And so with this home energy program and with this home improvement program, we've been able to successfully help residents of Minnesota not only achieve necessary home improvements such as emergency furnace upgrades or emergency air conditioning upgrades, but also further the goal of our organization of carbon equity, which includes offering non-emergency energy upgrades, such as insulation and air source heat pumps and solar systems. So we'll jump into our solar financing, which I will smile for. I have watched grow over the last 7 years. Whereas when we first started, or when I first started in 2019, we were doing a few solar loans. Whereas when we peaked in 2024, before tax changes, to where the majority of our financing was solar. So about the loans specifically, we have two different loans offered for Minnesota Housing and CEE. The biggest distinction between the two is the term and the income limits. Minnesota Housing's loan program does have income limits, and CEE's does not. CEE does match Minnesota Housing's interest rate, but at 10 years instead of 20 years. And so we do finance in certain situations loans up to 75,000, with the average maximum being 60,000, and then rates starting anywhere from around 6% and going up to 7.5%, depending on which loan you're looking to use, with most of them being at 6.25%. So loan terms.
Hey, DeShaun, I got a quick question.
Of course.
Is the city of Minneapolis still offering 0% financing?
Yes, but not for solar.
But not for solar. Oh, okay. Okay,
Yep,
so
it
you
was
still can get the 0% financing for the energy efficiency related stuff?
correct. Yep.
Buy down on interest for solar.
Yep. And
Okay.
that should be in the slide deck here as well. If not, I will keep it as a mental index, and we can definitely go further into that as well.
Okay, thanks.
DeShaun, does that include the green zone?
It does. Yep. With the green zone having higher rebate eligibility than the non-green zone parts of Minneapolis.
Okay.
Which I can actually speak about because I underwrite those loans. So, um, so with our solar programs, those loans are typically secured by a mortgage on the property, similar to a home equity, with a fraction of the closing costs. Another big thing is with our programs, we don't care about positioning. And so with a lot of financial institutions, they would prefer to be in first or second. With these loans, as long as the equity is there, they can take a much further position. So eligible improvements, and this is something we talked about a little bit, Doug. Eligible improvements, first and foremost, include the actual panels themselves, the inverters, the entire system itself. What's not included in that is the roof. The roof does typically need to be financed in an outside loan just because it's not considered energy by the Department of Commerce. But things such as storage are included. And so with new systems, if you're looking to do storage, you are able to do that on that energy loan. If it is a standalone battery estimate, that can be done on the standard home improvement loan. Do-it-yourself systems are eligible depending on the program and depending on permitting laws. And so we do run into some people who have electrical backgrounds, who have engineering backgrounds, who do want to put these systems in, and they do have the ability to do that with our programs in certain situations.
Okay.
Something that we spoke about earlier that there was a lot of interest in the chat about the air source heat pump financing. And so air source heat pump financing here at CEE is typically going to follow the same programs as the Minnesota Housing Energy Loan, with the exception of the Minneapolis rebate and 0% loan program. In addition to that, there are some neighborhoods, such as I believe it's Laurie Hills East, that has some green initiative grants and deferred loan programs, which you can further look at under the Minneapolis specific offerings and then your specific neighborhood within there. So city partners. This will be a quick example of the cities we work with. If you live within any of these cities, I would encourage you to take a look at those programs. There are sometimes programs that you are unaware of. Some cities offer the energy audit. Some of them offer remodel advisor visits free of charge. And some of them have different programs that can serve different groups of people. One of those program options is our senior deferred loans. And so many of our city partners offer city deferred loans to people who are 65 and older. These city deferred loans have sparked a new interest in some of our older residents, where we're seeing people who have the option of installing solar without any payments being due until they sell or transfer their homes. And in some situations, not being due as long as you live there for a specific amount of time. These terms do vary, but it does offer not only a benefit to our carbon footprint, but also a benefit to the pockets of some of our most income vulnerable residents.
DeShaun, before you go on, you mentioned solar and heat pumps.
Mhm.
Is there anything for geothermal?
It's funny you bring that up. Currently, we do not have anything for geothermal heat pumps. It is something that we've had in the past in some of the suburban areas of Minnesota, such as really Connexus. Connexus used to have a program that worked for geothermal. It is something that's kind of been whispered about again, but we haven't seen it happen quite yet, at least in my neck of the woods, because I live out here in Ramsey. So I'm a Connexus person as well.
Okay.
Ideally, it is something we did bring up to Minnesota Housing with the plans of hopefully getting that added to their energy incentive loan. Um, as of recent, it does seem that it's picking up more steam. So if anything of that does change, you guys will be the first ones that we will let know.
Okay. Thank you.
Of course. And so some of these city partnerships, one that we talked about was Minneapolis. Minneapolis does offer a 0% loan and bonus rebate for certain energy efficient programs in mini or improvements, excuse me, in Minneapolis. One of the biggest pushes is going to be air source heat pumps. And then combined, as long as they're combined with those air source heat pumps, upgraded natural gas furnaces. Another big improvement is going to be insulation as well as windows as well. And so I should have a slide for that. If not, I can definitely pull that up, as mentioned before, at the end from our website and show you any information on that as well. One thing I kind of wanted to talk about here that is a little off track of solar and heat pumps is our programs and partnerships with down payment assistance. As we continue to talk about lowering our carbon footprint, a big part of that is going to be home ownership. Understanding that some energy improvements can't be done unless you physically own that property. And so cities such as St. Louis Park and different neighborhoods in the city of Minneapolis, they have different types of incentives for their residents to get property in those cities or neighborhoods. And that can be combined with some of these energy improvement programs to ensure that we're taking some of these older homes, some of these homes that are less efficient, and ensuring that they are producing better results.
Any work with EVs and chargers?
Another great question. Currently, we don't have a specific program that'll work for EV chargers. It has been something we brought up with Minnesota Housing. I think that the biggest kind of setback from that is the lower price point typically of EV chargers, where those are typically, at or below that $2,000 range. Usually those bigger systems have larger electric like panel upgrades. And so when Minnesota Housing, as far as their funds are reserved or given to them on the energy program specifically, I don't know that it has the turnaround specifics.
Okay.
But it is something that me and Jim do bring up to them on a frequent basis, just to see if it's anything that's changed.
Just
Uh,
another curiosity question. do you guys do anything with, like, for example, in the Heights over in St. Paul, I think last year they put in 47 Habitat for Humanity homes. And, I know they got solar on the roof and heat pumps and stuff, but have you done any work with that group over there?
We haven't done any work with them specifically. Oh, actually, Danielle has corrected me. Our new homes team rated those homes. I was actually gonna bring up how we do that in Minneapolis as well, with our Tish reports. But Danielle said we do something similar and there. So we were there. From my understanding on that project, as far as solar is concerned, I believe that was gosh, what's their name? Solar Nation. Um, Gosh, I apologize if they're watching
Yeah,
this.
they were doing a lot of solar shingles, I saw.
Yep. And Solar Nations, from my understanding, worked with them to do a group buy on that purchase. Uh,
Okay.
Unfortunately, we don't do anything with group buys or any type of group buy staggering. But if anyone does need a connection in that, I can definitely dig and find someone to assist with that.
The group buy that we work with is Solar United Neighbors,
Yep.
and they do a really nice job.
Sorry, I forgot the United in there. So I was just saying Solar Neighbors. Yep, Solar United Neighbors have definitely worked with them on some collaboration things. But they would be the point of contact typically for anything group buy related or anything outside of the commercials or the residential sector. Um, so I won't go into the specific neighborhood partnerships, but you can see some of the neighborhood partnerships we have here in Minneapolis. So we're at that screen. Minneapolis Green Cost Share Programs. I knew it was here. I'm glad it's here. So I will go through these just because it is a highly sought after program currently. And so it is a 0% loan. Okay, perfect, Nate. It is a 0% loan through that we offer in conjunction with the city of Minneapolis and Minnesota Housing. The borrower must have a home energy squad audit or an energy disclosure report. Energy disclosure reports are reports in Minneapolis that are required on any new builds or sales. Correct me if I'm wrong, Danielle, because I could be wrong. In that they are rated on a scale up to 100, while offering suggestions on how to get from whatever their current rating is up to 100. And so they will typically let them know any installation needs or any suggested upgrades on HVAC equipment or windows. That energy efficiency loan is anywhere from $2,000 to $20,000. It's up to 10 years. It does have income limits, though those income limits are pretty high, um, in my opinion, and kind of in the opinion of the city. It is secured with a mortgage, and closing fees do apply. The biggest things with the improvements are going to be weatherization. So that's going to be insulation. It does not include air sealing, but it does include attic and wall insulation. Air source heat pumps, water pump, water heaters, and then electric panel upgrades when necessary for those improvements. Um, there is also a bonus rebate that's up to $6,000 outside of the green zone or up to $20,000 in the green zone. And so how those rebates typically work is we'll match the utility rebates that they receive from Excel up to 100% of the project costs typically. Um, Exceptions do apply depending on what's being installed, how much it is, any previous loans or rebates and things such as that. And so, Doug, you spoke about the green zone. This program specifically helps the green zone with people being able to get the rebate without actually having to take out the loan. That was something that the city had required in years prior, where you'd have to do two, where you'd have to qualify for the loan and take out the loan in order to get the rebate. With this program, it does not. And so it does allow some homeowners in the green zone to be able to get 100% of their project costs covered, with the utilities covering part of it and this bonus rebate covering the rest.
Awesome.
And there's no income limits on the rebates. And then that'll have the same exact eligible improvements as the efficiency loan. So quick how to apply from our website. You'll see here, it's pretty. We'll go to the loans drop down. here. From there, we'll go to this option down here that says apply now. We use one application for all of our programs here at CEE. The only exception to that will be the Minneapolis rebate. If you do want to apply for the Minneapolis rebate, that'll be under the loans drop down, the city specifics, and then Minneapolis. And there'll be a tab there that says bonus rebate. Apply now. Our application is pretty simple. The biggest thing here on our application is anything that has a red X does have to be completed. Anything that has a green check mark, we ask that you complete to make your application a little bit easier. Depending on the application, we do typically ask for 48 business hours to respond. From there, a loan officer will ask you for any questions or documents needed.
Sure.
Typical documents needed.
DeShaun, can I ask
Sure.
a clarifying question on that?
Of course.
You said it takes 48 business hours. Can you clarify the definition of a business hour?
We are typically, our business hours are 8 to 4, Monday through Friday.
Okay, so you're saying that it'll take 6 business days, which means if you apply on a Monday, your turnaround time is Tuesday of the following week, because that would be 48 business hours. Or did you mean 48 hours, like of the clock, like in 2 days?
Correct. Yep. So I do apologize. It is going to be, I would say 2 business days would be the better way to explain it. Whereas
Okay, yeah.
trying to just kind of acknowledge that if you apply on a Friday, we're not going to see it until Monday.
Right. But yeah, saying 48 business hours, 8 hours, that's 6 business days. That would be a Monday
Right.
through Friday plus Monday on the other side.
Thank you.
Just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Perfect. So here's a list of the typical documents we need. If you're retired or self-employed, it is a little different. If you're retired, we typically will need to see a Social Security award letter or proof of pension. But compared to a typical bank or credit union, our list is a fraction. So here's more of the application details. I'll let you kind of skim over it. If anyone wants a copy of this PowerPoint presentation, we can for sure share that as well for any future research or information. So yeah, just want to quickly run through some of the numbers since we are the lending department. And so in 2025, CEE closed over 1,800 loans. 90% of those loans were residential, followed by 9% being down payment assistance and 1% being commercial. We closed 151 solar panel loans and 371 air source heat pump loans, which is just under a third of all of our loans for 2025. From 2020 to 2025, CEE financed a total of 1,375 solar projects, and all those loans accounted for $40,165,675.48 in financing. The average loan amount for those loans were roughly 29,000. And since 2020, our biggest year for solar lending was 2024, in which we let out a little under 12 million.
Awesome. Well, that's fantastic. Wow. Great. Great information, you guys. Any questions from anybody? This is your chance to ask them if you have them. Chris, you must have something.
Oh, it looks like we got Peter too.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Peter, you're back. Okay.
Where should I go? Question is, these loans, are they serviced at CEE or could they be sold on the secondary market like a mortgage loan is?
Yeah, so that's a great question. Depending on the area, most of our cities except for Minneapolis are serviced by us here at CEE. The ones that aren't serviced by CEE are serviced by Marinette. And so that's usually a servicer of these federal or government type loans. And once they make it to a Marinette, I have not heard of a Marinette selling them again, but they are subject to being sold.
Okay. Thank you.
DeShaun, have you heard is there any like people that put solar up and then end up selling their house? I know there's some feedback out there in different places that people are having trouble with like a loan with another party and then getting the next party to buy the home to take it over. Has that been a problem with you guys? Or haven't?
I'd say yes and no. Um, I'd say no because we already have a policy for it. With
Okay.
these loans, they are due upon seller transfer. And so if anyone were to seller transfer their home, they'd have to pay this loan as a part of it. And so I guess that's the no. The yes in that would be that there are some homeowners who are kind of looking in the shorter future to sell their home, who are a little hesitant to put up solar with financing because of that. The saving grace in that, from my understanding and my research, is that solar is a home improvement that typically retains its value in resale. And so typically it's dollar for dollar. And so typically if you put a $25,000 solar system in your home, it typically presents that exact same value in its resale value.
We keep hearing that it'll increase the value of your home like 8 to 10% because energy is becoming such an important thing nowadays that people are realizing the value of it. So, but I've read, like I say, some of the other stuff too. Well, thank you so much, you guys. This has been great. One final chance for questions. Anybody? If not, great. And the other thing, DeShaun, just, for your information.
I got one question. I got a question.
Okay.
This popped up. Do you guys finance any improvements for like EV chargers or electric upgrades to handle EV chargers or other kinds of electrification, like to your, like electrifying your oven and stove, for example?
The oven and stove, not directly. What I will say is if you are looking to upgrade your panel and include an EV charger, an EV upgrade, that is something we can typically look into financing.
So you could include just the panel upgrade, or could it include like wiring in your actual garage from the panel to
Yep.
like a charge?
Yep, it could. So it could encompass the panel upgrade, the wiring, the EV, and a lot of times people will combine that with a heat pump too. We can kind of create that entire
And the
project.
solar, I would think too. That's
Mhm.
like, I think there where you get a lot of value too. If you have an EV charger and you have solar like on your garage, people are in your house, that's going to be like, oh yeah, that's like, oh yeah, that's valuable to have. You know what I mean? In the world today and going forward.
Yeah.
So that's really good to know. We should keep that in mind. I see Chris is on here. I was going to say for our eco experience messaging around this loan financing, because it will include those electrical upgrades that, I worked in Minneapolis for a long time, so I know 75% of the homes were built before 1960. So
Right.
they're all like, who knows what,
Knob and tube.
wiring and a lot of the stuff, especially in green zones, right? So all the
Mhm.
expenses, knob and tube wiring. So anyway, thank you so much. I really appreciated the information. It's really great to hear from you guys, and always congratulations on being such an awesome organization. I know you are nationally known, and it's wonderful that you're being recognized for the good work you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well,
Thank you.
Nate and DeShaun, thank you so much. This has been great. And DeShaun, I just wanted to mention when you're talking about, people, you can also direct people to our website to hear your presentation. And, like I say, in about a month probably. And feel free to use that if that's fits your needs.
Perfect.
So,
Thank you.
Thank you, Doug.
Yeah, thank you
Very
both.
much.
This has been great. All
Well-
right. We'll see some of the MRES folks over on the tiny house meeting next few minutes. Okay. Thanks again, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Have a good evening.
Okay, take care.